gonna see if I can do this in one take. It's not gonna happen. Welcome everybody to another episode of Hall's Garage. Today, I'm back with my dad's 1970 Monte Carlo, and we're gonna be trying to give this car the gift of sight and replace these old halogen and some late 80s, early 90s cheapo deluxe light with these nice Holley Retrobrights. So there's a couple housekeeping things that we have to do first. Obviously, we need to take the old lights out, but before we can do that, we need to mark where they're at in reference to a fixed distance vertical surface. So this car is probably going to be back down to the driveway, and then we'll tape some lines on the garage door with the garage door shut so that we can see where the lights are currently angled. Because when we put in the new lights, which we got one open here, when we put these guys in, we're going to need to re-level the lights so that we're not, pointing up into the International Space Station and blinding everybody that we drive at, because theoretically these will, be like the surface of the sun, but we're going to find out. So we got lights, we got lines, so we're just going to tape these up. You could, in theory, just use the landmarks on the door itself, but hopefully we don't actually need to adjust anything. But if we do, there's going to be tape around the circles and probably following these horizontal lines just to help us line it up. Headlight has been deleted. This is the style of plug that we have for the 70 Monte Carlo. There's two screws up here that hold on the beauty ring. Those are just some Phillips screws. And then there are two flathead screws that go, one's there and one is there. The screws that is right near it, so that's the adjuster screw for left, right, and that is the adjustment screw for up and down. This light is actually pointed a little bit more inboard than we want, so we may pull it out slightly. But once you've undone those two screws, this whole ring is actually held in with a spring, and that's what keeps the headlight in. So I'm going to leave the ring attached to the spring because I really don't want to redo that. So I just had it pulled out and then just wiggle it through. So simple as that. Here's the old light. There's the new light. So we'll throw that in and see what it looks like. Okay, so about 15 minutes and several new words later, here we are. This is the new light. It's got a nice plastic lens on it that I just put fingerprints on. But this spring sucks. To get this in, you kind of have to reach in and pull the bottom lip over this and then just kind of slide the ring over the rest of the lip. And then once you get it on, you have to make sure that your screw holes for these flatheads are aligned. You also have to make sure that the retainer plate in the back is lined up with your adjustment screws, because if they're not lined up, then undo it and do it again. And then you also have to make sure that your light is clocked correctly, which ours, I believe, is. But we're going to find out, because these have a horizontal line, and if that line is not horizontal, then we're going to figure out how to rotate that. But let's turn it on and compare it with our tape marks on the garage door and see how we are in terms of alignment. So the camera does a really good job emphasizing new and old. In other words, I can see things and I have no idea where I'm going. So you actually can't see the tape because the light's so bright. There is a piece of tape in there, and the alignment is pretty darn close. I think it's close enough to horizontal for us, and it's pretty well lined up. It's probably a little bit high. I think we still need to pull it a little bit more outboard, but we'll tweak it when we have it out on the road, I guess. But let's fix that so that we have equal visibility. That's sure something. Looks pretty good too. We just got to put the beauty ring back on the passenger side light, and yeah. So they're both pointed a little bit inboard, and they're both a little bit higher than what the originals were, but they're about level with each other, which is kind of the goal, I guess. So GM was actually kind of smart, and there's provisions in the beauty rings here to let you access the adjustment screws with the beauty ring installed. So we can adjust this on the fly if we're driving and everybody's flashing at us because, all of a sudden, this car is now capable of doing that. Whereas before, you'd be lucky if you could see the deer that was on your front bumper because the hood's so long. But anyway, now that that's done, let's throw that last beauty ring on and take it for a test drive. So there you have it. That was our install of these really nice Holley Retrobrights. And holy cow, what a difference they make compared to the old glass lensed halogen bulbs that were in it before. You can actually see things at night, and it honestly looks a lot like a modern LED headlight, which is absolutely fantastic and a huge improvement for safety, considering that with those old bulbs, you could barely see where you were going. This car didn't really get driven at night much at all because it's dangerous. So having these new lights in it, albeit it was a fight to get them in, my dad was saying that in later years they changed the way that the spring is attached to some of the brackets in the headlight assembly to make it easier to change out the bulb without losing your mind. But the way that this car was built, oh my god, that was a fight. Um, if you guys have any suggestions for an easier way to do that, drop a comment below. But yeah, I hope you all learned something, and I hope you all enjoyed. And yeah, drive safe out there, and we'll catch you next time.